A wannabe dictator with a limp ego insults a highly respected world leader, and another corporal is trying to start another world war. This and more as we jump into the pit. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Social Pit Podcast. I'm the Ski. This is for the week of March 3rd, 2025. Now, to date, Donald Trump has signed 76 executive orders in the 6 short weeks he has been president of the United States. To put that into contrast, President Biden's first year in office in 2021, he had signed 77 executive orders for the entire year. Now, just as fast as Donald Trump is signing these executive orders, many attorney generals across the United States are going to the federal courts to have them blocked and shut down. Now, Donald Trump has signed several executive orders ending birthright citizenship here in the United States. To date, 4 justices have already blocked Executive Order 14160, protecting the meaning and value of American citizenship. The wording of this executive order contradicts that of the 14th Amendment. Now, by the words written by Donald Trump and his legal team, all but one of his own children are illegal immigrants and subject to deportation as well. This executive order will not deport Donald Trump's children as they are Caucasian, and it targets Hispanics and blacks who they deem were not born here in the United States. Donald Trump is setting up Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, as the deportation center for all illegal immigrants. And within the first 2 weeks of this executive order being signed, Immigration, Customs, and Enforcement, otherwise known as ICE, have in fact rounded up many illegal immigrants who they thought were illegal. In one instance, a military veteran of the United States Armed Forces was rounded up as an illegal immigrant and subject to deportation. This executive order not only does it violate the 14th Amendment of the United States, but it also violates the Civil Rights Act of 1965. Now, on February 6, 2025, Donald Trump signed Executive Order 14203, imposing sanctions on the International Criminal Court. During his campaign, Donald Trump promised that he was going to end the war in Ukraine and Russia, and also the war in Gaza between Palestine and Israel. Now, for many years from his first administration, many people knew about the relationship Donald Trump has with Vladimir Putin and North Korea leader Kim Jong-un. Donald Trump has boasted greatly his relationship with dictators and the fact that he had also mentioned during his campaign that he was going to be a dictator starting on day one. And as many of us know, the United Nations does not take dictators very kindly, especially the fact that we watched the United Nations and the International Criminal Courts in 1945 and 46 take care of Nazi Germany. Donald Trump, being an admirer of Adolf Hitler and a proud owner of the book Mein Kampf, knows exactly what the United Nations and the International Criminal Court can and will do to him if caught on international crimes against humanity. Now, early last week, the United Nations voted on a resolution to blame Russia for the war in Ukraine. The United States joined Russia, North Korea, Belarus, and 14 other Moscow-friendly nations in voting against that resolution, blaming Russia. The resolution said, in part, with concern with full-scale invasion of Ukraine by Russian Federation has persisted for 3 years and continues to have a devastating and long-lasting consequences not only for Ukraine, but also for other regions and global stability, and calls for the de-escalation of an early cessation of hostilities and a peaceful resolution to the war against Ukraine. This vote led to a meeting between Donald Trump JD Vance and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskky. Now, on Friday, February 28th, 2025, Volodymyr Zelenskky went to the Oval Office and had a sit-down meeting in front of many reporters with Donald Trump and JD Vance. During this meeting, JD Vance berated President Zelenskky in great disrespect, telling him that he needed to be thankful to Donald Trump for all that he has done for the Ukrainian people.
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come to the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the President for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military?
We have problems.
And do you think that it's respectful
to
come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems, even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
God
bless. You will not have war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
At which point, Donald Trump's ego decided to get fractured even more as President Zelensky was defiant against JD Vance. And Donald Trump persisted to insult President Zelensky even further. To add fuel to this fire, the reporters inside the Oval Office were that of Fox News, Newsmax, and Russian agency TASS. Now, according to MSNBC, TASS, the Russian-based news agency, had snuck into this meeting and was not given proper credentials to be there. And once found out, the secretary of Donald Trump's propaganda ministry decided to escort TASS out of the building. Conspicuous by their absence was independent media, the AP News, Reuters, and also other news agencies such as NBC, ABC, and CBS. Now, as a longtime veteran of the United States military, I have actually witnessed global issues take place throughout my time in the military. I served from 1990 to 1999, at which point in time I was also involved in Operation Desert Storm. During that time, we watched Iraqi President Saddam Hussein invade Kuwait to try to steal their oil from their land. Now, during my time in the military, there were also two other international conflicts that were taking place. The first one was the Bosnian Wars that took place from 1992 to 1995. This was a war between the Serb and the Croats in the Yugoslav region that separated Bosnia and Herzegovina. The second was in Somalia, which was the Battle of Mogadishu. This took place in October of 1993 and is made infamous through the movie Black Hawk Down, in which a Black Hawk helicopter was struck down by a SAM missile. Our military troops had ventured into Somalia in order to rescue the crew members of that Black Hawk helicopter. Insurgents from Somalia tried to overtake Mogadishu for their own criminal empire. And because of that, many people lost their lives in the short amount of time that that incident took place. This too was also at a time when Osama bin Laden was starting to become a rising force within the global war on terrorism. This was also at a time when Osama bin Laden, a Saudi Arabian national, decided to take up residence in Afghanistan and build his Al-Qaeda network. From 1992 to 1999, Osama bin Laden was responsible for 7 different terrorist attacks on American entities around the world. He was responsible for the first bombing of the World Trade Center in New York in 1993. In 1998, there were 2 embassy attacks at the same time in Kenya and Tanzania that claimed the lives of 224 people, including 12 Americans. There was also the Kobar Towers in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and the USS Cole. Now, I personally did not witness these attacks firsthand, or was I involved in the aftermath cleanup of these attacks. But the reports to us military members was greatly involved. And as military members, it is our responsibility to maintain peace in any region that we have a vested interest in. And right now, our vested interest in Ukraine is highly important to prevent the dictatorship of Russia from invading the rest of the world. But if history dictates itself, in 1939, a corporal from the German army came to power with the Nazi Party and entered into Poland to start World War II. And sadly today, here in the United States, we too have a corporal in power and is virtually on the verge of starting World War III over one country that is trying to stop an entire nation of dictators from destroying democracy around the world. Now, as we continue on to watch Donald Trump and his reign of terror over our country by signing executive order after executive order, destroying our Constitution, we can rest assured that our courts are going to, in fact, stop Donald Trump from his executive orders taking action against us, the American people. Now, we as American citizens can, in fact, show our support to Ukraine by pledging our support, however way we can possible, through nonprofit organizations to stop Russia and their destruction of any and all democracies around the world. We ask that if you have a congressman in your area that is sympathetic to Ukraine, to please write them and acknowledge to our elected representatives to stand up against Donald Trump JD Vance and their support for Russia in the battle of Ukraine and the destruction of our democracy. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you for joining me here on the Social Pit podcast. I hope you all have a great week. Have a nice day.
About to go down, going all out. This is right now, yeah.